Hey y'all, I'm super excited to be back to share with y'all my top 10 things that I feel like every scrapbooker or paper crafter should have. I am going to share with y'all first one of the most inexpensive things that you'll find out there that I think is super important to have, or at least it's helped me in so many different ways, is this T-shaped ruler. Now, you might be wondering why a regular ruler wouldn't work. And you can certainly use a regular ruler. Of course, this is a smaller version. But you know, every single time you're going to get a perfect straight line because this T part leverages itself on the paper, so you know it's straight. And then you're not spending as much time trying to get the ruler straight before you actually draw the straight line, if that makes sense. So I'll just kind of share with you, if you do planning or bullet journaling, or you do like grid design on a scrapbooking paper and you like to sketch it out first, this is also great for like sketches too. Then you know what I mean by having a T-shaped ruler, how important it is to get those straight lines. So now I would never be able to do this with just a regular ruler. Plus I would not be able to do this on my own. Now this particular paper has like little not grid marks, but little dots on it. So you can obviously use those as guides as well. But I wanted to kind of share with you what this T-shaped ruler does. Now you can also use this ruler to measure, like to get the perfect measurement. Like let's say I'm making a traveler's notebook and I want to know the measurement on this. You can certainly use a ruler to get kind of an estimate, or a regular ruler. But for this one, I'll be able to leverage it on the book. I'll see that it's about 8 1/4. I believe it's probably about by 4 1/4. Yeah, so it's about 8 1/4 by 4 1/4. And so if I want to recreate a notebook like this, then I've used that T ruler and that's worked out perfectly for me. You can also use it to measure out paper, but here's where number 2 comes in. One of my favorite things I've ever owned is a trimmer. Now, if you've been using scissors and you prefer that, that's fine. But this thing, I've bought probably, oh my gosh, I've probably owned 5 to 10 trimmers in the last like 10 years because they do certainly come in handy. Some of them do start to break down like after probably a couple years. And this one in particular, I love it so much, but it does have this wire that will start to fray or it can break off. And so, but I just love this wire so much because it's like perfect for, like I can see exactly where I'm going to be cutting because of that wire. So I'm going to actually just go ahead and cut this down to 8 1/4 by 4 1/4 just to kind of share with y'all my process of maybe making like a little ringed album. So there's that. Okay, so now that I have the trimmer put away, I'm going to go on to number 3, and that is probably my favorite thing, one of my favorite things ever created, and I think I've said this before, which is the tape runner. So if you're kind of a back in the day scrapbooker, I used to use the little oh my gosh, they were like double-sided squares, and you would find the little pieces that you would pull off in order to get it sticky. You would find those everywhere. This has really saved a lot of time. Plus, they can be expensive, but I think if you buy them like in bulk or you buy them at your local craft store and use a coupon, you can get them fairly inexpensive. So I'm going to share with you a double-sided like ringed traveler's notebook just because for the sake of being able to use these, but also I think it turns out really nice. So I'm just going to line those up simply. I'm not going to pay too much attention to patterns. This would be a great travel book. So like if you're going somewhere, I'm paying attention. I just want to interject here and talk about the different types of tape runners. So here I'm showing 2 different brands, the Scotch and the Tombow brand. Both of these work really well for me. There are different types of runners. There's a permanent dot runner. there is a removable runner, and then there's also a permanent tape runner. Now the dot runner is just how it sounds. It's going to create little dots whenever you run it, and then the tape runner is going to create more of like a tape line, which I actually prefer. I just don't have any in my stash. So those are the different kinds of runners that I use. Okay, so now that I have all of these double-sided, what I'm going to do, so this was the tape runner. I'm going to put that away. That was number 3. I'm going to move on to number, I think I'm actually going to move on to number 4, but I'm going to share with y'all a couple of options of scissors, so 4 and 5. I have some nonstick large scissors that cut through almost anything, and then I have some little precision scissors. These are from Stampin' Up, but you can get like the EK Success ones from the craft store, and then they have other ones as well. I'm not picky about the brand. Now these I am, because these are the Tim Holtz scissors, and I've had these for a very long time and I love them. I think everybody needs precision scissors, just because I think cutting something, like if I were fussy cutting, I'm just going to share with y'all. Let's just say I was fussy cutting these flowers, which I rarely fussy cut just because I don't think I'm very good at it, but using these large scissors would cause some tears. Plus it just wouldn't get I wouldn't have a very good grip on being able to get around these like little pieces there. So just for the sake, I'll go ahead and finish this and show y'all. It just makes more sense to use something smaller, and it makes it so much easier to get around all the little curves there. I've always been told to move the paper instead of the scissors, which I don't know if that's correct or not, but this is really pretty paper. I have no idea where that's from, but that's pretty. Okay, so scissors, Tim Holtz nonstick precision scissors. I did see some excess on here, so I'm actually going to just go ahead and, another thing is if they're sticky on it, these nonstick scissors will be perfect for getting cutting right through it and not like having difficulty getting stuck on the paper. One of the reasons why I love nonstick scissors. So those are the scissors. I'll probably pull those out again here in a minute just because I use those a lot. And then now I'm going to move on to number, let's see, yeah, that was 4 and 5, right? So now I'm going to move on to the hole punch. You can certainly punch holes wherever you want. This is my favorite hole punch. Unfortunately, I have not been able to find this exact one online. You might be able to find it like at Joann's or maybe Michael's. I'm not sure if they still have something like this. This is a 1/4 of an inch hole punch, standard size. Okay, so I know that you can use the reinforcements with those. So here they are. I like to color mine sometimes so that I can at least get like a little bit of like, you know, just not just always white, a little bit of some color, some additional color. So I'm going to just take that off right here. I'm going to place that there, and then you have kind of like an instant tag. There goes my scissors again. That's the other thing I like about how long these are. And these are called, just for reference, they're Tim Holtz, like the tonic scissors, I guess. Extra large, I think. Another reason I like those is because of how long they are. But anyway, so one of the reasons why I like this 1/4 of a hole punch, single hole punch, I guess I should say, is because I like that it's standard size. And so you can use them with the little standard reinforcements, or you can use them with, I'll share with you real quick, with this as well. This is a standard hole punch as well for reinforcements, or for the little tag lining, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so moving back onto this, I'm going to try to get these in some sort of order so that they're not right up against. No, I'll do it like that. Okay, so now I'm going to grab some rings. Okay, so I have the rings. You can do 2. I'm just going to do 1. I like these ring albums because there's flexibility in them. You don't necessarily have to have like everything lined up perfectly. I'm going to try to like line it up as best as I can. Like I said, you can do 2. Most of mine have 2 on them. Am I doing this correctly? Probably not, but that's perfectly fine. This is just really just to kind of share with y'all why I think having something like this is important. You can make an instant tag, plus you can make little mini albums too. Okay, so I've got that. I'm gonna throw this away. I'm gonna set that aside. And although this isn't one of my favorite necessity tools or products, just gonna share with y'all real quick how you can put the ring on and how it kind of turns out, I guess. Okay, so now that I got that ring open, or I got one of them open, I'm gonna go ahead and lay these on here just in the order that maybe I want. I'm not paying too much attention to that just because the video is really just to share with y'all my favorite tools. Quickly go through this, and I will just go ahead. Oh, that's cute. I like that as the cover. Okay, so now you have a little album. You can add little ribbon here just to make it cute. You can flip through pretty quickly. You can take these pages out, work on them. Pretty fun. So the next thing I'm going to share with y'all is another one of my favorite tools, which is the tiny attacher. So just to share with y'all a little bit of why I like this. This is really more for decorative use. I don't use this like in my everyday stapling, but sometimes I do use this to add some detail and to add some texture. So one of the things I use this for a lot is if I am just wanting to add some layers, but I don't like necessarily want to use my tape runner for every single layer. This is a great way to hold things in place. So just to kind of share with y'all, I'm going to go through this little, kind of like I'm doing my process. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to see if there's any other travel. I think that's kind of cute. I like this because it has some different travel themed stuff in here. Okay, so I like that. I'm going to quickly add my staples. Sometimes I add two just to have, you know, a little bit of extra texture. And then what I'll do is that could be like the front of the album, if that makes sense. So I'm going to grab my little runner. So now that I have those layers exactly the way that I want them, I can just add the tape to the very back layer, and I'll just quickly add that to the front of the notebook, if that makes sense. So, okay, I am going to move on. So that was the tiny attacher. Now I'm going to move on to, let's see, the long arm stapler. So this is a big boy here. I love this I just got this, but it's easily becoming one of my favorite products. So you remember the scraps I had earlier? I'm just going to simply fold some of them together. So I'm going to I'm actually going to just layer them real quick, and then I'll show you how I fold them. Let's see. I think that's enough paper. They're all about the same size. I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to just trim off the excess. Another reason why I like these scissors is because they can cut through a lot of papers at one time. So I'm going to set those aside, and then I'm simply going to fold where I want them. You can use your scoreboard or your bone folder. I do have a bone folder that I can use to try to get at least a little bit of a better cut there. And then what I'm going to do is, so I would never be able to get, now especially if it's a longer book, I would never be able to get like my book through something like this if it's a regular size stapler. So let me see if I have one on hand that I can kind of share with y'all. So you'll see here, it's not going to reach that. This is a pretty standard stapler. There are some that are a little longer, but I still don't think it would reach that. You can move this as far back as you really want, just because there's all this extra space. So I'm going to place it just right there in the spine. I think I'm going to do 2 staples. It's really hard to see just because this paper is darker, and so it's kind of hard to see where I'm going to want my staples. Okay, so I'm going to staple there. I'm just going to try to make sure I get right there in the spine. Okay, and then I instantly have a little book. I could have probably made sure my papers were lined up a little bit better, but just to kind of share with you, like now, if you're going somewhere, you have a little book that you've already created just out of pattern paper that you own. Of course, you could put these double-sided if you wanted, but one of the reasons why I love this long arm stapler, one of the many reasons, I guess. Okay, so the next thing is the Big Kick or the Big Shot machine. This is a little bit more pricey than all the things that I've shown y'all, but I love it for a lot of different reasons. If you don't want to own a large like die cutting machine or like a Silhouette or a Cricut, this is the perfect tool for you to have. You'll want to get some like thin cut dies, and you can make some instant little embellishments. And I'm gonna use this coffee die just because it's so cute. Let's see. Okay, so I have this little, and you'll want to make sure that it fits through. So this fits typically, I think it fits 6x6 paper. And it depends on your machine. You might have a bigger machine, or you might have one that's more mini. I could definitely use a mini one just like for quick use, but this is great for putting a bunch. Like you don't have to just do one. You could put a bunch on here at a time. I'll just do 3 for now. So if you're not sure how to use this, this typically comes with, let me just kind of start from the beginning. This typically comes with 2 sandwich plates. They're like these, kind of like a plexiglass. I'm not really sure what that's made out of. And then it comes with like a platform, and the platform kind of walks you through how to use these. I use the top one all the time just because I always use the smaller wafer thin dies, which is what these are. So you'll put the platform down first, and then you'll put your first little, I'm just going to call it your little plastic plate. And then you'll put your paper down with, or your material, whatever you're using, with your die. So whatever part is sticking out of the die, that's what's going to cut. So you'll want to face that down to the paper. Same thing here, same thing here. Okay. And then you'll place your other plate right on top, and then you'll just simply run it through. And you want to make sure everything's on the platform, because if some of it's hanging off, it won't cut. And typically you only need 1 cut. I'm just going to move the machine so that I can show y'all. Okay. Okay, so that came out great. So these are going to cut near perfect every single time. Now I have 2 little tags that I can use in this album. And then I have a little coffee cup, and I'm going to share with y'all real quick. It's also going to cut out a heart. So there goes the heart. And then let's see, just so I can get the coffee cup itself out. This little tool, this isn't on my top 10, but this is good to have. It's a little pokey tool. I don't know what else to call it, but I'll link it down below. And then now you have a cute little coffee cup. And so that is the Big Kick machine that you can use with different kinds of dies, but I always go to wafer thin dies that I love. So that's that. And then what's nice is, of course, you can add it as part of your album. You can add it kind of sticking out. I like that. I don't know if I like that one or if I like that one. I know I'm not supposed to be creating. I'm just really supposed to be sharing with y'all, but I can't help it. So I'm just gonna add this sticking out. I just kind of want this, I don't care for it, like the tag part to show, like the hole. I just want the little bits, like the little bit of the circle popping out of the corner. Okay, so that is the Big Kick machine. And then last but not least, I think if you're gonna own any punches, my favorite punches and the ones that I use most are the circle punches. And probably the one that I go to most is the 1.5 or like the 2-inch one. Sometimes I use the 1-inch one as well, but they can be inexpensive if you get them at your craft store, or if you look for like deals where like the Hobby Lobby ones can be 50% off sometimes. Same thing. I don't think Michael's has a ton of punches anymore. They have their own brand, and then they have some We Are Memory Keeper stuff, but they've kind of cleaned out that area. So you might just look around to see what you can find. So here I am, okay, so I just cut off this part so that I can use this, make a little semicircle embellishment. What's great about this is that you can obviously use it for a bunch of different reasons. You can cut full ones, you can cut like little fourths of a circle, you can cut semicircles, and you can create fun little backgrounds with these. So let me find a little page that I can maybe use this on. So you can probably add it up there just because you see the little city in the background. So you can add your little circles. So I use these a lot for embellishments. I use them a lot to punch out like little designs. So you'll see, of course, I don't know if I use that for these, but some of these in here I used to punch out some of these like sayings. And so that's, if you have like just a printer, but you don't have a cutting machine, you want some like circles of different sizes, some circle punches. So that is it for my favorite tools. I hope you'll check out my upcoming videos where I'll share some of like my favorite products. I had fun sharing with these with y'all today. You guys, a lot of you probably have some of these, but if you don't, then I definitely highly recommend these products just to kind of get you started, or at least to have in your stash that you'll be able to use them for a long time. And a lot of these last quite a bit of time as well. So that is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.